Kubor ka Batisi TV. Lawan Rashapi da ka Frank Motors. I am Tata Punch. Price starting at 5.80 lakhs. Ringkat bat ka net foodish. Ordar mapi nginwan ra amangi hakir dobyeng jongpi.
We had a cabinet meeting today, and so 9 items were discussed in detail. Of course, there were 11 items, but 2 were deferred because more clarity was sought. So we had 9 items that we took up. First is basically the amendment of the Meghalaya Local Fund Audit Rules, 1996. Basically, the amendment was in terms of updating the rules because a large number of office memos have come out, and those office memos then have to be incorporated in the rules. Hence, the amendment to the Megalia Local Audit Service Rules was done in order to update it with the different memos that have come out. The second decision was for rules to conduct departmental examinations of 2022. As you're aware, for the IAS, we have departmental exams are being conducted by the Assam Public Service Commission. Since we don't have rules and procedures out here to conduct exams here, we're a joint cadre. But the cabinet today has decided that we will have the examination centers out here in terms of the departmental examination centers. These are for the IAS officials who are already in probation or joining. And there are these departmental exams that are conducted. And normally they were conducted by the Assam Public Service Commission. But now they'll be conducted here in Meghalaya through the MPSC. And of course, the syllabus will be more oriented, obviously, towards matters that are regarding the state, and obviously we'll also see more usage and the options of using the languages of Meghalaya, and which is Khasi and Garo language will also be there. So these kind of options will be there for the conduct of these departmental exams. And as I said earlier, these are for the IAS probationers of the Assam Meghalaya joint cadre, and those allotted to Meghalaya segment will be having departmental exams in Meghalaya. So this is not an IAS exam that we're talking about. We're talking about the IAS probationers. So earlier they used to have the exams in Assam. Third is that the cabinet has decided to group the posts carrying the same scale of pay with similar qualifications in one advertisement. This basically means that today MPSC has to conduct different exams and selection processes for different departments. And in the process, what happens is it does take a lot of time, because sometimes you have the same similar qualifications, similar skills that are required, or in posts that are carrying similar scale. So instead of having 5-6 different exams for 5-6 different departments, the MPSC will club exams in one go, and those that are having the same scale of pay with similar qualifications the exams will be held together. This is being done in the interest of saving time and to avoid duplication. But of course, the respective departments' posts and the necessary reservation policy and the necessary the roster systems that need to be followed as per the cadre and the post in those particular departments will be followed as it is being followed right now. That will not change. But as I said, just the examination will be done together rather than having it separately. So this is one of the reforms that we're doing in order to streamline the working of the MPSC. We have also today adopted the implementation of the prisons manual. For the last 50 years, we have been using the Assam manual, and for the last 2 years now, there has been a committee that has been working on creating a prisons manual for Meghalaya. This is basically, in a very simple terms, an SOP of how prisons should be managed and run, and this includes multiple aspects of management and running of prisons, including the living overall, the staying and the overall processes that have to be followed in different situations, including even overall welfare. So many other aspects are there, a large number of them. It's a large, almost 200 page manual, so it will not be possible for me to go into all of it, but it was long overdue, and we show that with this manual coming up, the overall management of the prisons will improve also in the long run. Next, the proposal to amend the Meghalaya District's Court Ministerial Service Rules 2020. It's a very simple amendment that we had changed, and government had decided that to increase the age limit from 27 to 32, and subsequently the respective rules of the service rules of the Meghalaya District Court had to be amended to incorporate that change. So that was done today and was accepted by the cabinet. We also had a proposal for the amendment of the Meghalaya Goods and Services Tax Act 2017. It's an ordinance, and basically this is being done as per the provisions or as per the decisions that were taken in the GST Council, and all states have been asked to make necessary amendments. These amendments are many, but the basic purpose of these amendments is to overall improve the compliance by different taxpayers, and with that purpose, a large number of amendments in terms of compliance have been made, and that has been adopted today in terms of an ordinance, which of course will have to be presented in the next assembly session. We have also proposed for the amendment of the Meghalaya Prosecution Service Rules 2016. As you're aware that in the last SP conference, I had mentioned about this particular prosecution service rules, and this was necessary in order to improve the overall prosecution and the procedure and make the prosecution process faster and better. So the cabinet has decided on that, and which would include the regular appointment of public prosecutors in different districts, and also overall streamlining their performance, the working system of the prosecution directorate. This was passed way back in 2008, but necessary steps to actually implement them and streamline the process was not taken. So this will be a very important step, and we are sure that with this step we will be able to increase the overall conviction rate also in the state, which will lead to overall efficiency of the system. Basically, for the regularization of services of government LP and UP and non-government LP school teachers of Meghalaya appointed by the administration and Deputy Inspector of Schools post 1994 up to 2007. As you're aware that when the state government had taken over the LP schools in 1993, large number of teachers had been shifted to government and they had become regular government employees. But in that process, almost close to 2,447 teachers were left out in terms of being regularized. This has happened for many reasons, and I don't want to go into details of that. But for all these years, these teachers have been receiving regular salary in terms of the scale, the selection process also through which they were selected. The process was followed properly, and in spite of the appointments given to them during that period, the actual regularization of their post was never done, which means that they were not getting pension and ACPS, they were not getting all this while. So now with this decision of the cabinet today to regularize these 2,447 teachers, they will now be regularized, as I said, and they will be receiving, they'll be regularized, and accordingly they will receive the benefits that they're supposed to get as regular employees. And this has been a long pending demand of these 2,447 teachers, and I'm happy that we have been able to regularize them today. Will be pensions, as they are already getting the scale of pay that other teachers are getting. So the state government took over 2,568 schools of the district council at that point in time. So there were about approximately 136. I'll just read it out. That when the state government took over the schools from district council, 136 odd schools were left out without being taken over by the state governments, which are left to be considered as government schools. Apart from that, also there were other schools and other programs under which these appointments were made. So ultimately, a large number of teachers from these schools also and other schools also got clubbed in. But then those processes and those programs at that point in time, as I said, selection processes were done and state government had then made appointments. But for whatever reason at that point in time, they were not regularized, though they were receiving scale of pay. So to answer your question, 2,568 were taken over, schools were taken over, 136 were left out, and additional few more schools came in. And out of that, so total 2,447 teachers were. So today was the cabinet, and of course, I would like to take this opportunity to thank Rebecca Sucha. Today was technically last cabinet with us, and she's really contributed a lot, and I'm very thankful to her, and I wish her the very best for the future. Yes, the cabinet, the next chief secretary's file has already been processed, and the name will come out in a day or two, so you'll come to know. I don't have to tell the name. I'm sure you will come to know in a day or two, and I think it's a question of another 2-3 days time.